A woman shot here in Norman. Police are looking for a suspect. Could non-binary be seen on birth certificates? And new data has been released regarding vaccines for children. OU Nightly starts now. Hello, thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Jessie Klinger.
And I'm Olivia Dague. Tonight we begin with a shooting in Norman that has police searching for the suspect. OU Nightly's Kolby Terrell has the details of what we know so far.
Yeah, police are looking for a suspect who shot a woman yesterday in a domestic dispute. The shooting happened on Toberman Drive just north of campus. Now the shooting was on that drive, and the suspect took the victim to Norman Regional, but then left before authorities arrived. His name was Brian Lawrence Foree. Now the police are still looking for him as he is last seen driving a black four-door Jeep SUV. This is all that we have so far on the matter. We will keep you updated as it is an ongoing investigation. Reporting live, I'm Kolby Terrell, OU Nightly.
Police are asking anyone with information on the shooter to contact the Norman Police Department. And for the first time in the state, an Oklahoman was able to edit their birth certificate to identify as non-binary. Although the state health department allowed this change, Governor Kevin Stitt disagrees. He responded today saying, quote, "I believe that people are created by God to be either male or female. There is no such thing as non-binary sex." Now a bill has been introduced to legally require only male and female options. The Oklahoma legislature can take that up when it resumes next year.
The Oklahoma State Health Department reports over 1,000 new COVID-19 cases today. This brings the active cases to nearly 7,400 Oklahomans. The state's death count has hit 11,098 people. Almost half of the state is fully vaccinated, while 58% have had at least one dose. And new data concerning COVID shows more promise for the effectiveness of the vaccine on kids. CNN's Mandy Gaither breaks down the findings and tells us what's next for getting children vaccinated.
Just days before a meeting on COVID-19 vaccines for younger children.
The vaccinations and the vaccines in question are highly effective and safe.
New data from Pfizer shows its vaccine is nearly 91% effective against symptomatic COVID-19 in children ages 5 to 11.
It is for the benefit of the children as well as for the entire family unit to get the child vaccinated.
If authorized, this would be the first COVID-19 vaccine for younger children. Kids ages 5 to 11 would be eligible to receive 2 doses of the Pfizer vaccine administered 3 weeks apart. Each dose is 1/3 of the dose size now given to an adult.
We are actively working with pediatricians' offices to make sure that we are ready to go should that regulatory approval and the CDC recommendations come forward.
On Tuesday, FDA vaccine advisors meet on the matter. If that committee makes a recommendation, the full FDA will have to authorize it, followed by the CDC.
The CDC will actually meet the following week, the first week in November, to make a discussion and decision after we see the data on the 5 to 11-year-olds.
If the CDC gives the final thumbs up, younger children could start getting vaccinated not long after that in places like pediatrician offices, children's hospitals, and community centers. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Moderna and Johnson & Johnson have not yet requested emergency use authorization for a COVID-19 vaccine for younger children and will not be considered during next week's meeting.
The Norman Vaccine Incentive Plan is finally underway. The incentive plan was initially passed September 14th, but after undergoing an amendment to the budget, the plan officially started earlier this week. A pop-up vaccine pod will be held this Sunday at a central Norman public library. Norman residents can get vaccinated or their booster shots. Those who participate will receive a $25 gift card to a local restaurant and be entered to win in a raffle.
I think it's important to be able to provide the community with an option for those that might be on the fence, those that might be wondering if they should get the vaccine and maybe taking their time to decide that. I think this is a good opportunity to both stimulate the economy with our incentive plan. It helps definitely more than those just getting vaccinated. It helps the local economy as well.
The pop-ups will be available by appointment only. To make an appointment for a vaccine, visit ImmuLab's website.
You know, Olivia, this weather has been ideal for my definition of fall. The cool mornings, the leaves changing color, even the beautiful sunsets.
Hayden Giller joins us in the studio. Hayden, can we expect to see nice weather to stick? Are we expecting it to stick around? Excuse me.
Well, thankfully, the nice weather should stick around for the rest of today, with temperatures in the 70s across almost all of Oklahoma, dipping into the 80s in the southwestern part of the state, which is really surprising when you talk about the weather that we saw this morning. We had clouds and some storms roll through the area around noon that eventually pushed through and left us dry for the afternoon hours. Now, this kind of rain, unfortunately, we can expect to see over the next couple of days. While it will warm up, there is some rain on the way, and there is potentially severe weather alongside that rain. So, Olivia and Jessie, while the fall weather has been really nice, it's not here for the next couple of days, unfortunately.
Thanks, Hayden. And if you shop at Walmart, you might have picked up a product that does more harm than good. We'll have all the information you need coming up next.
And a major mishap on a movie set killed a female crew member yesterday after actor Alec Baldwin fired a prop gun. We'll tell you more after this.
Safety Commission says contains a dangerous bacteria. Better Homes and Gardens branded aromatherapy.
I can hear you, but like barely.
Could cause a serious health condition. It sells for around $5 and was sold between.
Yes. Thanks, Olivia. A female crew member has died and another was injured after Alec Baldwin discharged a prop firearm.
That's such a
Attention Walmart shoppers, there's a recall of a popular item purchased at the big box store. Walmart is recalling an aromatherapy room spray that Consumer Product Safety Commission says contains a dangerous bacteria. The Better Homes and Gardens branded aromatherapy spray with gemstones could cause a serious health condition. It sells for around $5 and was sold between February and October of this year. Shoppers who have it should not open the bottle. They can return it to Walmart for a refund.
An accidental shooting shuts down the production of a movie filming in New Mexico, and a blockbuster star is caught in the middle of it. Bailey Coyle has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the country. Bailey?
Thanks, Olivia. A female crew member has died and another one was injured after Alec Baldwin discharged a prop firearm on a movie set yesterday. The female victim was identified as Helena Hutchins and was pronounced dead at the University of New Mexico Hospital. Baldwin made a statement this afternoon on Twitter expressing his sadness of the incident. He is cooperating with the police as they are investigating and no charges have been filed. And a former associate of Rudy Giuliani, Lev Parnas, has been convicted of campaign finance charges. Prosecutors accused him of using other people's money for campaign donations of Republican figures and a Russian financier. A co-defendant was also found guilty on 2 counts in connection with the scheme. Both defendants denied any wrongdoing. And a federal judge has set the date for a hearing for former President Donald Trump. The hearing will be on November 4th and will look into Trump's role in the January 6th riots. The House Select Committee has requested documents and records for the investigation. However, Trump is attempting to use his executive privilege to prevent that. He has until November 12th to get a court order to stop the National Archives from turning over those documents. And Jessie, the Supreme Court is allowing the Texas abortion law that bans abortions after 6 weeks to remain in place and has agreed to hear oral arguments next month. Back to you.
Thanks, Bailey. Today, candidates have been announced for OU Student Government Association's president and vice president. Junior Zach Lasaw and Denzel Akufu are running against junior Angelora Castellano and sophomore Samantha Hepburn. Other cabinet positions have also been announced. The SGA campaigns will be 10 days long, and students can vote on OU Engage November 2nd and 3rd.
And high schools across the country are having a hard time finding people to ref their games.
We'll tell you why when we return.
And Hayden, are we going to see more rain this weekend?
We will unfortunately see some rain this weekend and through the start of next week. We'll have more about the weather for you after the break. Looking at our downtown Oklahoma skyline, you can see that we have no cloud cover across the entirety of this skyline's view, which is really surprising considering the weather we had this morning. But after all that, it did lead to a beautiful afternoon. 76 degrees outside right now with, again, not a cloud in the sky with that south wind, slight 11 miles per hour from the south-southeast. Now that wind brings with it tomorrow some warmer temperatures. Across central Oklahoma will be in the mid-80s, 84 in Oklahoma City, 82 in Norman, up to 86 if you're in Woodward. These warm temperatures are not like what we've been seeing over these last couple of days, but I want to call your attention to this up here, this swirling wind pattern at the very top in Kansas. Well, unfortunately, the University of Oklahoma plays a football game in Kansas and has to deal with those swirling winds. Those winds bring with them 60-degree temperatures and some rain at the 11 a.m. kickoff. So if you're in Lawrence and you're heading to the game, be sure to grab a rain jacket and maybe another jacket on your way out the door because it's going to be cold and dreary. Now, if you're in Lawrence as well, there's severe weather after the game you're going to need to worry about. In fact, all across northeastern Kansas, there is a slight risk of severe weather per the Storm Prediction Center. If you're heading back to Norman tomorrow after the game, or if you're sticking around in the Kansas City area, be sure to stay weather aware to keep yourself safe really all along the drive back to Norman. What is causing this? Well, we have this low pressure system that's kind of just parked over the Kansas, Colorado, Nebraska area, and as it sits there, we're getting some rising air, we're getting rain out in front of it. Eventually, it does get its act together and push across the country, but brings with it this cold front to the Norman area on Sunday afternoon. The temperatures will cool back down, but with that cold front, we end up with a good amount of rain in the forecast for the next couple of days before another cold front starts to come through the area on Monday night into Tuesday afternoon. That brings with it another chance of severe weather. The 5-day outlook on Tuesday, the Storm Prediction Center has a 15% chance for, well, a large region of the plains for severe weather on Tuesday afternoon with that cold front coming through. But without that, without the storms on Sunday and the storms on Tuesday, we truly do have a beautiful week outside of those 2 days. In the 80s this weekend, dipping down to the 70s, a high of 70 on Wednesday before we cool down even further to, and you're seeing this correctly, 68 and 69 degrees on Friday in the 7-day forecast. So Olivia and Jessie, the fall temperatures, they're not here this weekend, but they do come back by the end of next week.
Thanks, Hayden. High school sports nationwide have been experiencing a shortage of officials. In Oklahoma, a number of officiating crews have lost veteran referees as a result of the pandemic. The lack of experienced crews is forcing younger referees into higher profile games. The biggest visible changes to fans, players, and coaches is the change in game times.
For the first time, it's become a reality to them as we've had to move dates of games to have appropriate number of officials to officiate. And that has become more prevalent here during football season, where there's been opportunities to move games in football from Friday nights to Thursday nights to get officials.
The official shortage could be amplified by the upcoming basketball season that starts November 1st. But switching it back over to football, I'm really going to miss that game day tomorrow. So while the Sooners head up to Kansas, I'll be supporting the boys here in Norman. What about you, Jessie?
I'll miss it too, but Big Friday Sports' Amaya Ward is here to tell us how OU will match up against the Jayhawks. Amaya?
Well, the Jayhawks have had a sluggish start, so I expect the Sooners to leave with the dub. Meanwhile, OU wrestlers hit the mat for the first time this season. Big Friday Sports is next.
Will be the face of the sport for the next 3 years.
Kirk Herbstreit has a pretty bold take, but we have to agree with him. We'll see how Caleb Williams and the Sooners shape up in Lawrence tomorrow.
Hello and welcome to Big Friday Sports. I'm Addie Crawford.
And I'm Amaya Ward. After a solid win last week against TCU at the Palace, the Sooners are making the trip up to Kansas.
And after senior receiver Mike Woods traded his old Arkansas jersey for the Sooners Crimson and Cream this year, he's proved to be a huge offensive weapon.
With the slow offensive start to the season, the new QB Caleb Williams connected with Woods to get the Sooner offense back on track.
Let's hear from Mike Woods on his new QB1.
He's giving us chances. Like, you see a lot of 50-50 balls are being thrown out there. He's letting it fly. So we're really enjoying playing with him. We're ready, like I said, we're ready to ride with whoever's back there. I mean, every receiver wants that. So, I mean, we want to go out there and make those ESPN plays, and a lot of those come from 50-50 balls. So we definitely love the 50-50 balls. And we tell them all the time, like, just throw that thing up, we're going to go get it. So.
Now let's take it to our Game Day U team in Lawrence to see what more we can expect from this OU Kansas matchup.
Hey, Big Friday Sports, we're the Game Day U travel team. I'm Kaleigh Tinglestad with Will Blessing and Shannon Ehrhardt. We are here in Lawrence, Kansas, getting prepared for kickoff tomorrow. Now let's talk about that game. What are we looking for the Sooners and the Jayhawks?
Well, against Kansas, something I'm watching for is the return of Marcus Major. Now, this is a guy who has not been able to play for the Sooners. He was recently, his eligibility was brought back. He's able to get back into the game. The Sooners' run game has been progressing upward in the past couple of games. It'll be very interesting to see him get into the offense. I'm very interested to see it happen.
Will, I'm going to flip sides with you, and I'm going to say the defense. I am very excited to see the defense and see if they can rebound from last week against TCU. The defensive backs obviously lacking, but Jaden Davis and Billy Bowman really need to show out and show that they are worthy of their spots in the secondary. The defense will be able to bounce back against Kansas because it's a weak Kansas offense. So I'm excited to see the defense.
Yeah, and kind of touching on that, OU has had 9 straight games, a long stretch of games. A lot of injuries have occurred. I don't see that hurting the Sooners tomorrow because it's Kansas. I think these next couple weeks of games, they'll have time to utilize these other players. It's not going to be the toughest game, so I think these injuries won't affect OU against Kansas.
Absolutely.
But speaking of that, score prediction.
Sure. I'm going 63-14 OU, and we've said it already. I've got 2 words. It's Kansas. It's going to be able to tune up a defense. The offense is going to get explosive. It's easy money on a big blowout for the Sooners.
Yeah, Will, I kind of got to counter you there and go a little bit lower. I'm going 56-21 OU. One thing to say is that Lincoln Riley's offense is no match for the Kansas defense. The Kansas defense is weak. They have only one weapon, and that's Logan, and that's about it.
Yeah, you both already touched on that. I'm going to go with 66-10. OU offense is going to dominate the game. Kansas is going to try their best. Not going to work out in their favor. But that's all the time we have for We're the Game Day U travel team here in Lawrence, Kansas. Back to you in the studio.
The undefeated OSU Cowboys are on the road again this weekend to face the Iowa State Cyclones.
The Cyclones have lost their last 4 games against the Cowboys in Ames, but have been killing it at home this season. It will be a tight game you don't want to miss, kicking off at 3:30.
And OU Wrestling returns to the mat today to kick off their season. The reigning Big 12 champs are hosting their annual red and white scrimmage right now at McCaslin Fieldhouse. Matchups will be posted on OU Wrestling's Twitter account.
Lots of excitement, fireworks. Obviously, we had a really good off season here. So yeah, a bunch of good new young talent and some old vets coming back. So it should be good.
And OU soccer played a thrilling double overtime bedlam match last night, but ultimately fell short. The Sooners came back and erased a 2-goal deficit in the second half.
But the Cowgirls swooped in and scored a golden goal in the 106th minute. The Sooners hope to climb the Big 12 standings with only 3 more matches left in the season.
Sooner sports have a busy weekend. Volleyball is also taking a trip to Lawrence for a back-to-back matchup against the Jayhawks tonight and tomorrow.
Women's tennis will keep dominating on the road, attending the ITF tournament in Georgia on Saturday.
And to end your full weekend of sports, soccer is hosting their annual pink game against the Cyclones on Sunday.
And stick around for our local high school sports spotlight. We'll be going underneath the Friday night lights, previewing some matchups in the area. Don't go anywhere. Big Friday Sports continues.
The Oklahoma Sooners take on the Kansas Jayhawks in Lawrence, Kansas tomorrow at 11 a.m. The first game not in Norman, Oklahoma, and well, the weather is not fantastic for the occasion. And the kickoff is at maybe go into this game in Lawrence, probably grab a jacket and maybe a raincoat because it's going to be a wet and cold game tomorrow.
Welcome. Welcome back to Big Friday Sports. Now let's talk about some prep action happening tonight.
Jumping right in, Southmore is looking to get their first win of the season as they take on Edmond North tonight at 7. Keep your eye out for a lot of the Wildcat from the Sabercats.
The Moore Lions started their season on fire, but it was soon extinguished after 2 back-to-back losses.
Determined to pick momentum back up, the Lions are ready to make a comeback against the Putnam City Pirates tonight at 7.
Moving on to our game of the week, Tulsa Union takes on Norman North right here in Norman. Both teams are coming off big wins and hope to continue their hot streak.
Look for a battle of the running back between Union's Junior Smith and Norman North's Chapman McCown. Thank you for watching OU Nightly and Big Friday Sports. I'm Addie Crawford.
And I'm Amaya Ward. Be sure to tune in Game Day U bright and early tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Have a good evening and we'll see you next week.